Welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast on the From the Heart Business Network. You've joined a global movement of sales professionals who are dedicated to being authentic and building trust. We call it Selling from the Heart. Together, we're on a mission to bring sincerity and substance to the sales profession we all love. Get ready to be inspired and equipped as we join our hosts, Larry Levine and Darrell Amy.
If you're a high-performing salesperson, you know your time is your most valuable asset. So why waste it on tasks that someone else could handle even better? That's where our friends at Work Better Now come in.
Work Better Now virtual assistants are specially trained to help sales professionals like you fully leverage your time. Imagine offloading administrative work, calendar management, data entry, and follow-ups so you can focus on what you do best, building relationships and closing deals.
With a dedicated assistant at your side, you'll have the bandwidth to grow your pipeline, strengthen client connections, and crush your sales goals.
It's simple. Free up your time, maximize your impact. Let Work Better Now help you work smarter, not harder. Your sales career deserves this game-changing advantage.
Visit workbetternow.com today to learn more and get started, because your time isn't just money, it's everything. Hello, and welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Your co-host, Darrell Amy, here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
All kinds of things. Another great day here, Darrell. I'm fired up for our guests, but more importantly, I'm fired up for our community who continues to pour Selling from the Heart into what they do and help us wave this flag.
This is if you're part of the Selling from the Heart audience, you are a part of an incredible group of sales professionals. And we differentiate between a sales rep and a sales professional, because a sales professional is truly dedicated to the things we talk about: being genuine, being authentic, building trust, all the attributes of selling from the heart. And I absolutely love this community of sales professionals all over the world that we get to interact with on a regular basis.
And you know what? I just have to give a special shout out to a dear friend of ours, because it's this person who I truly love that brought us our guest. That's Mark Hunter. Mark's near and dear to the Selling from the Heart community, past podcast guest, near and dear to me, but he's the one who introduced this fine guest to us. So Mark Hunter, I love you. I appreciate you.
Hats off. And we're excited to introduce you to our new friend, none other than America's #1 breakthrough speaker, Brian Biro. Brian is the best-selling author of many books and one of the most dynamic voices in personal and professional development, having helped countless companies, associations, and individuals unlock their true potential. What makes Brian extraordinary isn't just his message, it's also his method. His secret is making every participant feel like the true star of the presentation through powerful real-life stories, practical examples, and an energy that is absolutely contagious. He helps people believe in themselves, break through barriers, and rise to their very best level. And I have a sneaking suspicion he's going to do that for us today. Brian, welcome to Selling from the Heart.
Thank you. What an intro, man. It was the best intro ever. I really didn't write it up. No.
That's how we roll here, Brian. Welcome.
It is how we roll. We're fired up. This is going to be a great conversation. And we're going to kick it off with a question we ask every guest on the Selling from the Heart podcast. Brian, what does it mean to you to sell from the heart?
First of all, I love that title. That is the greatest message to send to every sales professional in the world, that if you sell from your head, you're not going to make it. If you sell from your head, you're trying to just throw out information. You're trying to convince. Selling from the heart to me is some of the things that you said in the intro. Number one, it's being authentic. It's loving what you do. All right. When you love what you do, it shines through. And it's about service. It's what you can give, not so much what you can get. You enjoy what you get, because when you do this, you're going to get more than you ever dreamed of. But it's about, how can I serve you? It's about really building people, teams, and relationships, right? And selling from the heart means you're focusing on controlling your controllables. So often we get caught up in worrying about the things we don't control. And when we do that, we're getting out of our heart, we're getting up in our head. And I don't know about you guys, but I realized a little while ago, I got so many holes in my head, no wonder so many things fall out. So to me, it's about authenticity and being authentically in love with selling, and understanding that selling is service. right? When you're selling from the heart, you're wanting to give people value. You're wanting to, and by doing that, that means you do a few things more than anything else. And we'll talk about them. One, you're fully present. And that means you're a master asker. You listen. All right. And listening is perhaps the most important ingredient in selling from the heart, because that's where you start to focus on what you can give rather than what you can get. It's about really feeling a sense of gratitude for the opportunity to serve people. So selling from the heart really is about being present, being a world-class questioner, somebody who is a master asker, right, and absolutely loving what you do.
Oh, I like this. I've never heard this one before. Master asker. Freaking amazing. But something tells me something lit a fire in Brian decades ago that got him to where you're at today. What's the whole inspiration behind the message that Brian brings to the forefront?
The foundation of everything that I do, and I think every great sales professional comes from the same place, and I believe in people. I believe I have a passion for people, that we can rise to our potential. Mm-hmm. And so my first career, I've had 3 really neat careers. My first career, I was a U.S. swimming coach. So I was working with young athletes to rise to their potential in their sport. And I realized really early on, you don't coach, I was a swimming coach. You don't coach swimming, you coach people. All right. And selling is really a form of coaching people. It's really about bringing out the best in them and best that you have to give them. So when I realized that what I did was really about building people, teams, and relationships, that's really guided my other 2 careers. I went into a corporate world after I got my MBA at UCLA, and I realized that what I was trying to sell was that we need to see ourselves as a team. My company was very siloed, very separated. Operations hated sales. Sales hated operations. They both hated the home office just a little bit more, right? And I got to tell you, that made no sense to me. And so that's when I started doing the work that I do as a speaker in my own company, and was remarkable because we had the most astonishing turnaround, perhaps in the history of the air freight forwarding industry. We went from nearly going out of business to being the most successful company in our industry. And it was all about the way we worked with each other. It was all about getting rid of that separation and moving from silos to synergy. And so that led me to the career that's been the joy of my life, which is a professional speaker and an author for the last 35 years. Yes, I'm old. I've been around for a while. Yeah. And recognizing that what I really do is I'm out there selling in a way. What I'm selling is people to believe in themselves. I'm trying to help people see possibilities in their lives rather than limits. Trying to help people understand, and I've done so many events for sales teams, and I love sales teams because they have front of the room energy. Great sales professionals love to learn. Mm-hmm. They're constantly looking to learn. How can I get better? How can I learn more? How can I be better at what I do, which also transcends into their families? So I think the core of the answer, Larry, is that the spark was this passion for people, that we have more in us than we've ever dreamed of. And my work is all about bringing that out.
Mm. I love it. I love it. It's selling from the heart. We believe that we like to, with our clients, say, you're not a sales manager, you're a sales coach. We believe that coaching is, the most high leverage skill set and activity of leadership in sales. I think you brought something really interesting into the conversation, and that is sales people, sales professionals as coaches in a selling situation. Let's unpack that a little bit more, because I think that's a fascinating perspective.
Well, this draws from, as you both know, my first book was called Beyond Success. And the foreword was written by, to me, the greatest coach of all time. And his name was John Wooden. Now, if anybody on this show doesn't know who John Wooden was, he was the UCLA basketball coach from 1949 to 1975. His teams at UCLA won 10 national championships in 12 years. No other coach in history has won more than 5 in a 42-year career. Coach K won 5 in 42 years of coaching. Coach Wooden won 10 in 12 years. But here's the secret. He would have been the first to tell you he didn't win any in the first 27 years that he coached. He used to say, it's what you learn after you know everything that makes the difference. The man was a lifelong learner, and he was the epitome of the sales coach, if you want to call it that, who sold from the heart. He was the opposite of the throw the chair, ram out everyone. He was a gentleman. I think the toughest words he ever said was good grief. But he got his message across, and he did that in such a powerful way by recognizing coaching is about bringing out. It's not about you. It's about how can I help you rise to your potential. And he taught that success, and what a brilliant definition of success for every great sales professional. Success is peace of mind. And it comes from one thing. It comes from knowing that you've given the best of which you're capable. In other words, this will blow people away, but it really gets the essence of how a real coach thinks. In 27 years of coaching UCLA, John Wooden never said the words winning or losing to his players. He never said the words. Did he want to win? Oh, yeah. But what he wanted was for everyone to adopt that definition of success I just said, to focus on what they put in. All right. Coaching is about what you put in. And that's why being a great sales professional is more about asking and doing what we rarely actually do, truly listening before you ever start to talk about what you're going to provide. Truly listening, because most of the time when we're with somebody, all right, and they're supposedly listening, what are they actually doing?
They're not really listening. Exactly what Darrell said. They're thinking about what to say the minute there's a pause in the conversation.
And when you recognize, and all sales professionals, this is a really, really important study to understand. There's a study done at UCLA that asked about communication. And they looked at the 3 elements of communication. So the 3 elements in communication are words, that's what we say. Tonality, which is not what we say, but how we say it. It's our voice quality. And the third is body language. It's our physiology. So the study, which has been done twice, separated by many years, came out the same way. 55% of communication is not what we say or how we say it, it's body language. 38% is not the words we say, it's our tonality. 93% of communication isn't about the words. And so when you're thinking about what you're going to say, guess what you're missing? You're missing 93% of their communication at least. So the key is to listen first, take it in. You'll still know how to respond, but to break that habit of not really listening, you guys nailed it, all right? And really take it in. That is the essence of what coaching is, because coaching isn't about trying to teach somebody what you know. It's about bringing out the best in them, all right? And when we do that in a sales relationship, it creates a totally different relationship than one where you're just providing something for them and they're paying you money for it.
Oh, this is so good. So me being a sports geek, I could take this down the sports angle in about 2 seconds, and I think I'm going to. But if you look back at Coach Wooden, right? So that's just fast forward. Coach Wooden's alive, right? We know he's not, but that's just we're make believe for this purpose. Is he's alive and he's well today, and he's looking at the current state of sales leadership, and I'm using that term loosely, and how they work with salespeople. What do you think Coach Wooden would say if he brought a bunch of people collectively into a locker room? What do you think he might say today compared to what he would say decades ago when he was around?
Well, first of all, I think he would say probably the same things, but he would be even more passionate about them because of the way we're in right now. But what he would teach is, first of all, focus on the things that you control: your effort, your energy, your attitude. Coach Wooden was probably the greatest person I've ever known, and one of the greatest gifts of my life was that he was my friend. And I asked him, Coach, what's the difference between a good team and a great one? And he kind of surprised me right away, because he said, because I thought I have a background in coaching. I thought he'd say it starts with talent. You got to have the talent. You got to have the recruits. First thing he said was, Brian, it doesn't have that much to do with talent. And then he said, we have more in us than we ever thought of. All right. He said, it's amazing what's accomplished when nobody cares who gets the credit. But then he said, the difference between a good basketball team and a great one is the same difference between a good sales professional and a great one. Between the same difference between a good or average mother and father and a great one. So now he had my undivided attention. And he said, after a lifetime of working with people, which is never forget, sales is about people. He said it became clear to him that the difference that made the difference between good and great was the difference between 2 little words. He said, I know where he'd start with that locker room full of people. He said, when you're good or average, you are willing to support each other in the greater good and goals of your team. And the key word he used was willing. Now, I always thought willing is a really good word. It is so much better than unwilling. Right? But then he described it in a way that we can probably relate to pretty well. He said, willing is about the same spirit, effort, and energy with which teenagers clean their rooms. Yep, they'll do it because they really hope to eat today. He said, but they're not excited about it. He said, to reach your greatness, whether it's in sales, whether it's as a parent, whether it's whatever you have a passion for, all right, the key word is they are eager to do it. No job is too big. No job is too small. No job starts too early or ends too late. It's only when you break through from being willing to being eager that you have a chance to rise to your potential. So as soon as he said that, I'm sort of a visual guy, and I got this picture in my mind. I invented something to this day I still call the eager meter, all right, which kind of reminds me of Beaver Cleaver. It tells you my generation.
Yeah.
And you realize it's the same way you have a heart, you have a brain, you have lungs, you have an eager meter. And to me, it's one of the biggest parts of your heart. And here's the greatest truth about your eager meter. Like it or not, you're 100% in charge of your eager meter. Nobody can ever give up for you. Nobody else controls your own faith, your own hope, your own energy. And so he would start by saying that, what we're really going for is to move that eager meter as far towards eager and away from willing as we can get. If we do that, we're going to come out pretty well.
Oh, so good.
So coach us, Brian, how do you ramp up? How do you throw that eager meter all the way over to the side? What are some things you do and you recommend folks do to stay on the eager side of that equation?
Well, the first is to recognize that we have choices about our energy. We have choices about the way we interact with people and make great choices in every event that I speak at. Now, first of all, I love what I do. I've done 2,000 events around the world. I feel like I found what I was put on earth to do. And if I'm going to help people elevate their eager meters, I better have mine pretty high. When I'm on that stage, I want to be filled with that energy and understanding that energy is my choice. We don't necessarily control the level of our intellect necessarily. We can improve it. We can grow, but we do control our energy, and our energy is generated by three simple things. Number one, and this is really a simple little thing that is not taught to sales professionals, but it can make a huge difference. The first way, your energy is created by the way that you move, period. And other times, anytime you've been at your best, you've given your best presentation, you've been your most dynamic, you've been your best, most understanding, you've moved your body distinctly differently at those times than when you've not been your best, right? Specifically, your body line and posture, your facial expression, your eye position, and your breathing. Now, I've said this to some people before. They go, well, Brian, if I had more energy, I'd move more. Move more and you'll have more energy.
Yeah.
That's where the choice resides. I bet you guys know somebody, and everyone on your show knows somebody who at a much advanced age in their life blows you away because they have this incredible energy. Maybe a parent, a grandparent, a former sales leader, could be somebody in your life. But I know two things about them. Number one is that they're one of your heroes. You admire them because to everyone we touch, our energy is our example. Number two, they keep moving. We don't get older, we just stop moving. I'm actually 94 years old, but I just keep moving all the time. So the first key thing that I really want to recognize and work on all the time is my own energy. Right? How can I elevate my energy? Number one is to make sure that I'm moving in my life. That when I'm on stage, I'm not thinking about it, but I'm moving all over the place. Even more important is the most powerful source of energy is purpose. Whenever you're full of purpose, you're full of energy. You ever notice when you get to do what you love to do, energy's no problem? It doesn't matter how you've been feeling. When you get to do that thing you love to do, it's like, get out of my way. And I joke about it, but it's the truth. When I'm on stage, I am 25 years old. I get off stage, okay, I'm 70 again. But on stage, I am 25 because I'm so filled with purpose to want to give everyone in that room something of value. So as a sales professional, when you get out there, bring your energy. Right. And the last element of energy is the one to make sure you release, and that is release your energy vampires. I've talked about energy in my events for 35 years. Every now and then somebody comes up and says, Brian, I have a ton of energy, except when I get around him. I have this one person who sucks the energy out of me. And I always say the same thing to them. I never say it to be harsh or cruel. I say it to set them free. If you have somebody in your life who seems to take your energy away, when you get excited, they bring you back down. I use the 2 words that Bob Newhart, the old wonderful comedian, used in one of the funniest skits ever. Stop it. Stop it. It's not their energy. It's not their power. And when you release those energy vampires, and you don't do it out of anger, you don't do it out of spite, you do it out of joy. You do it out of recognition that I'm not going to give you that power because it's mine. Something magical happens. Your energy rises on, I talk about a 10-point energy scale. 1 being comatose, 10, a child on Christmas morning. 10, the way you feel when you just did the greatest job of selling of your life. And here's an important question. Where are you living your life on that 10-point scale? And the fastest way to move up that scale is to really take charge of those 3 elements of energy, your movement, your purpose. Ask every morning, the first thing when you wake up, what am I truly grateful about today? The word has a secret in it, especially if you're not big on spelling. What you're grateful about has within it the capacity, when you focus upon it, the power to make you grateful. What you're gratitude, what you're grateful about will focus you on your priorities. Your priorities will lead you to purpose. So you start each day with that focus. What am I grateful about today? It fills you up with that purposeful energy. And great people in any endeavor, including sales, are people who are driven by a purpose that's bigger than themselves.
Oh, I mean, this is so good. You could go on for another couple hours, but you're welcome to come back. I want to hit on this energy even more because there's something that's really important about all this, especially in the world of sales that is so competitive, that weighs on your mind and it weighs on your heart and all that. The way you start your morning and fill up your cup is going to determine the energy that you have throughout the day. That being said, Brian, I'm throwing you on the hot seat. How does Brian start his morning, fill up his cup so he has the energy like you have right now?
You're going to laugh about that. So first of all, I'm an extremely early riser. So I wake up. Part of that's kind of leftover residue from being a swimming coach, because swimming practice started at 5 a.m. So I was up at 4:07 every day. Actually, I was up at 4:05. I always beat my alarm by 2 minutes every single day. Yeah. So I'm still a very early riser. And the first thing that I do is I get out. And for years it was running. Just in May, I got a new hip and I'm bionic now, so I may take up running again. But first thing I do is move. I get out and I walk for at least 4 to 5 miles every morning. And I enjoy every sunrise, which is another way it fills me up, is being outside and enjoying the magic of this incredible natural world we have. And it doesn't matter where you live, if a sunrise is incredible and it just fills me up. So first thing I do is what I just talked about, Larry. I move. I walk for 5 miles. When I'm moving and when I'm walking, I'm doing my talks. I practice my events. I could do my events backwards. I've done them for 35 years. But what I'm actually doing is refilling my tank with the stuff I believe in so much.
Love it.
And also, as I practice it, I'm actually talking. Now, in the old days, people thought I was crazy because, here's this guy walking around talking to himself. But now they think I'm talking on some sort of a device. So they don't think I'm as crazy anymore. But I'm also allowing myself to be fully associated to what I'm talking about and allowing that aha. Even though I've maybe said this story 500 times, something fresh comes out. And I want to grab a hold of it. So I'm filling with purpose about things that I'm seeing the room full of people that are taking what I learned and doing something of value in their life, with their families, with their careers. That's the way I start my day. And I do start every day by asking myself, what am I truly grateful about? I do one other thing. I always say the St. Francis of Assisi prayer for peace. To me, that's my favorite all-time prayer, and it fills me up. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there's hatred, sow love. Where there's injury, pardon. Where there's doubt, faith. Where there's despair, hope. Where there's darkness, light. Please grant that I may not so much seek to console as to be consoled. Pardon me, to be consoled as to console. To be understood as to understand. People think that was Stephen Covey with St. Francis of Assisi. To be loved, to love as opposed to be loved. Right? That fills me up every day, and that's my morning. That's my morning habit, and you'll never find a morning when I don't do it.
I love it. Man, I'd love to go for a walk with you in the morning. That's great. I need a motivational speaker in my neighborhood. Hey, I want to get back to these vampires as we wrap up. So, obviously we have these people in our life that drag our energy down. But one of the unique things about the sales profession is we have situations and prospects and we hear no a lot and we get ghosted. And there's a lot of things in a day in the life of a sales professional that can suck the energy out of you. What do you recommend our friends do when those just things inside the life of a salesperson come in and try to drag you down?
Wow, that's an awesome question. And it extends beyond sales. It extends as we have teenagers who are going to say no when we say yes, or vice versa. I think it comes down to really getting back to focus on what you do control. I think about it. When you're focusing on your vision, you're focusing on asking more than telling. You're focusing on being present for other people. You're focusing on the things that you have control over, building people, teams, and relationships. When we focus on what we control, we feel momentum. We feel confidence. We feel energy. It's when we focus on what we don't control and get caught up in it that we start to feel frustrated, angry, disappointed. So really 3 controllables can absolutely prepare you to, whether it's yes or no, to keep moving forward with resilience and belief. First, shape your future. Don't wait for it. All right. I've asked a million people in my events a funny question, and I'll ask all the people watching your show. I ask them, what color is a yield sign? And every audience I've ever said says yellow. Well, guess what? Yield signs are red and white. They're upside down triangles. Every audience uses their memory to see. All right. And so as a sales professional, where that matters most is with people. Every time you go in with somebody, look for who they are today, not who they were last week. Change the way you look at people. The people you look at change. Change the way you see yourself. The self you see will change. So, and remember that what you focus on is what you create. So are you focusing? And so ask yourself, what am I focusing on? How many of us are focusing more on worrying about what will go wrong than creating what we want to go right? How many of us focus more on the things that upset us than on the things that bring us joy? Either way, what you focus on is what you create. So condition yourself to focus on what you want to create and stop using your memory to see. Second, energize and engage your team. Before you can do that, you got to energize and engage yourself. And the most powerful way are those 3 ways: movement, purpose, and release the energy vampire. The man I was sure was my energy vampire for most of my life was my dad. He recently passed away, and by the end of his life, because I released that energy vampire, we were completely healed, completely connected. And a man who had never said the words, "I love you" to anyone in 92 years, the last 2 years of her life, every conversation ended with, "I love you, son." That's the power of releasing your energy vampire. And then most of all, we won't have time to do it. We'll come back for another show. Make the decision to be more fully present. Every time you're present with another human being, you say to them the thing you must say if you're going to build trust and relationship. And the only way you can truly say it authentically is what you're saying to them is, you are important. All right. When you're fully present, that says right now, you're the most important person in the world to me. And when you say that, man, you've created trust and you've created relationship, but you can't do it. You can't fake it. People know when you're fully present or not. And when you do it, though, you are absolutely fulfilling the most important role you play as a sales professional. You are helping people feel, when you leave that room, they feel better about themselves.
Larry, I want to run through a wall.
Oh, I'm so grateful. Hey, I'm going to tell you something. I am so grateful for Mark Hunter introducing us. I'm going to jump through the screen and give you a big old hug, Brian.
Well,
I'll take it, baby. I'll take it.
I know the question that everyone listening right now is asking themselves inside, and that is, how do I get more Brian Biro in my life?
Well, I appreciate it. I have a lot of books. My most recent book is called Lessons from the Legends. It's the 2 legends I write about as a way to really focus on character. Are John Wooden and Pat Summitt, who was in many ways to women's basketball what Coach Wooden was to men's basketball. And for those who think they're out of tune, John Wooden's pyramid of success was on the wall of Ted Lasso. That's how cool he is.
That's right.
And, my website is just my name, brianbiro.com. And my passion, and I think I'm so glad you said it in the intro, is I'm less concerned with people remember my name as they remember their possibilities.
Yeah.
And so when people walk out of my events, I want them to fill up with a sense of, wow, what else could I do that I didn't know I could do? And that's why I have people get in the game instead of sitting on the sidelines, because it's really about them. And it fills me up to do what I love to do. So go to my website, bring me into your organization, and I'll give you everything I've got.
I
So
love
good.
it.
Thank you so much.
Brian, thank you for coaching us today. You are a true Selling from the Heart champion. We appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. I love the work you're doing. You are revolutionizing and going to the right place about what sales is about. Because sales is about giving, and when you do that, the getting will be natural.
Oh, thanks so much.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, guys.
Wow, Larry, what a great conversation.
Oh,
I want Brian in my neighborhood. I'm recruiting him so I can walk around every morning. But listen, I mean, the passion, the energy we bring is so crucial to not only our success, but also our fulfillment. So many nuggets in this conversation that we got to go back and put into practice. Just so inspired today, Larry.
no, absolutely. And I'm a big believer in this, and Brian just did such an amazing job in bringing this to light. Is we're responsible for how we show up. We can control that.
Mm-hmm.
But we choose to focus so often on the things that we can't control that it just takes us down avenues that just takes us into ditches and veers off what we should be doing. So just pay attention to the energy that you bring. You control this. Nobody else does.
Absolutely. Move, connect with purpose, get rid of the vampires, all of these things. So powerful. Well, hey, I want to say thank you to everyone who's joined us here today. You're a part of a growing community of sales professionals all over the world who believe in selling from the heart. This is truly a movement, and you're helping us spread that movement. So thank you for sharing this podcast, leaving reviews, all of those things. Help us find more people just like you who believe in selling with purpose and passion.
Yeah, we're just grateful for you. It's us collectively that are rising up and waving this flag, and that flag happens to be no more empty suits. So on that note, Darrell, take us away.
Well, till next time, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep building trust, bring the energy, and most of all,
Sell from the heart.